Hello everyone, and welcome to this webinar launching the 2025 edition of DEVOPS Rex Conference. This year, the 6th edition of the French-speaking DevOps Conference will be held at the Cité des Sciences and de l'Industrie in Paris on the 10th and the 11th of December 2025, of course. So compared to 2024, it's a different venue and also a new format that we will introduce to you today. And to talk about it, I'm happy to welcome Jonathan Clark, founder of the conference and current head of the program committee, and Camille Isaac, sales manager, and myself for marketing and communications purpose. So let's start about the general overview of this webinar, as we will be presenting our ambitions for 2025. We will start to introduce a few keys about the program. Camille then will introduce the Cité des Sciences, the venue. And at the end, we will talk about the different synergies with the co-organized event, Open Source Experience. And to conclude, we will start a very light presentation about the benefits of the sponsorship, and we will be able to send you the full presentation after the webinar, of course. So this will be the 6th edition of the conference. Jonathan, as founder, can you tell us about this event and how you created it?
Sure, thank you, and hi everyone. So the DevOps Rex conference has been going since 2016 now, and we started it with the idea that what people really want to see on stage are real-world feedback talks. So people that are coming to say, this is something I've done in my company, this is an experience I've lived through, this is something I've driven, and saying, I mean, ideally what works, but also ideally, sometimes what didn't work. Because that's the best feedback that we can share. So this concept has been going for a long time now. It's something that really brings in high-level participants. We're going to talk about that a bit later when we talk about the attendees, but we're getting people that are very interested in a room all together, and it's enabling the conference to build on quality year over year. We've also decided to do it 100% in French. We've played around with this, with having a couple of English talks over the years, a couple of English speaking talks anyway. And we've actually found that there's a high demand for the local community to interact and speak in their own local language. So if you're watching us now, you're probably wondering why we're talking to you in English about a French-speaking conference, but it's a great opportunity to network with local attendees, local DevOps community. That's one of the things I'd like to add as well, is that as well as high-quality conference and content, we are very focused on getting people into networking, so meeting each other and talking to each other and meeting the sponsors.
Okay, thank you for this information. So yes, actually the Cité des Sciences and of the industry is not a new venue for DevOps Rex, as it was the place where you organized it in 2019. So it's a place that you know well and that is very adapted to this kind of conferences that will be run for 2 days. And we expect 600 attendees directly to the conference. And what else can we say? That for the delegates, well, the attendees, this year's event will be well, we are trying to have it all-inclusive with regular coffee breaks, convivial aperitif lunch for all the participants. The idea is to have food served both on the sponsor stands and in the reception areas, which should be greatly encourage networking. In addition, in previous years, there will be, well, as in previous years, there will be a VIP area for around 100 selected participants and certain categories of sponsors. So yes, that's what you said. It's the idea is to have very well a top of the range event. And for the attendees, they will be able to buy their tickets from May the 5th. So it's quite soon, next week. Regarding the profile of the attendees, I think that it's important to remind you who they were in 2024 to imagine the participation as a sponsor in 2025. We are mostly in a profile of decision makers, which functions, which role are CTO, as for example, head of information systems, head of securities. We also have several middle managers in infrastructure, deployment, CI/CD, or application manager. And of course, well, developers and application engineers. As you can see in this slide, it's mostly big groups or well, big companies that participated next year, all based in, well, the suburbs of Paris, because that's where all the big groups are mainly settled. So yes, that's just a selection of the kind of companies that participated last year, sorry. Now, well, the main focus that well, we will have now is regarding the program. And to talk about this, I will ask Jonathan to well, can you explain a bit more what you are preparing for this year?
Sure, with pleasure. So we've put together a program committee. So there's an independent selection of all the talks. These industry leaders, people who are working in the field, more or less experienced, people from all over the place who have a bit of a good representativity on the program committee. And what we're looking for this year, as well as general talks about DevOps transformations in various organizations, which is what we've been putting on stage since 2016. We've also added, back in 2019, we added DevSecOps to talk about the whole cybersecurity dimension in and around DevOps projects and DevOps initiatives. And this year we've got two new subjects that we're really looking to get the first few feedback talks on, which are artificial intelligence, and more specifically, artificial intelligence actually being used in production. So trying to see if anyone out there is willing to come on stage and say, yes, we're using artificial intelligence, how we've done it, what went well, what didn't go well, what the concerns are, what the security implications are as well, of course. So really excited about that real world feedback there. And also DevOps and the impact of current changes around the world and the political implications that they can have. Thinking more specifically about the European companies that are mostly our attendees here. A lot of European companies are looking to change providers at the moment to use more European-based solutions. And those kind of changes are being driven somewhat by international events. And sometimes it involves some very fast migrations, for good or for bad, successful or unsuccessful. It's really interesting if someone's willing to come on stage and talk about that, see how they did that, what they achieved, any express projects that got run. Similarly to last year, we talked a little bit about what happened during COVID. There's a lot of express projects that happened. And now that speed dimension in DevOps is something that's particularly interesting to us.
Maybe you can introduce your partners for this role.
Yeah, so we currently have a team of 12 program committee members. We're actually looking for 13th right now to even out any votes that might be 50-50. People from all fields of engineering, of DevOps, different experiences. Some are more technical, some are less technical, some are more management, some are less management. Some have been with us since the very beginning, since 2016. Several of them are old speakers that have been on stage at DevOps Rex before. And we're leveraging them essentially to use their networks to find great speakers for next year and to drive the new ideas that we need to get on stage to make sure we're staying absolutely up to date in our content.
Okay, cool. We look forward to meet them and mostly to see the final program from beginning of July then.
Exactly. So we've put out a call for papers, which is already open, and that is going to accept proposals all the way through to the middle of September. We're doing a first selection of about 2/3 of the talks will be selected by the end of June. so we can advertise there, make sure everyone knows they're coming, make sure the speakers can prepare. And then we'll do a second and final selection for the remaining third by the end of September. So it'll give us a couple of months to promote the content, make sure there are lots of attendees during October and November.
Okay, so stay tuned, everybody. You will have the information as soon as we are ready. Thank you then for your contribution, John. And now we are going to continue with our presentation of the Cité des Sciences and de l'Industrie. Camille, can you say a few words about it, please?
So it's a very famous place in Paris. It's more about sciences, and it's there is a huge museum there, but we are looking the exhibition area, sorry. So it's on 3 different levels, but you have natural light on every levels. So it's a very, very nice place to exhibit. And we have a huge amphitheater for more than 900 participants. So it will be the conference in this conference room. So the conference will be held at the same place and same dates as OSXP. So it's the Open Source Experience Trade Show that we organize. And it's on the exhibition area is on 3 different levels. And the first floor is for open source. Then you have the DEVOPS Rex level, and finally the open source again. So we have the conference room, the amphitheater, and on both sides you have the bar, the VIP bars, and in front of it you have a booth for exhibitors, and we are hosting 30 sponsors this year. So yes, that's yeah.
Well, thank you for this presentation. As you were talking about open source experience, maybe I will add a few information about it. So last year it was already this situation, meaning that open source experience was held at the same venue and same date. And we saw a real synergy between the 2 events that were giving as well more leads to the exhibitors of DEVOPS Rex, the sponsor of DEVOPS Rex, as the situation is in between the 2 open source experience floors. It can drive to the DEVOPS Rex sponsors all the developers that are visiting this show, around 900, because the Open Source Experience Trade Show welcomed every year 4,000 visitors, 90 exhibitors, and it's as well a conference. There is 130 conferences during 2 days dedicated to open source. So what else to say? Yes, it's important to notice that the situation of DEVOPS Rex in between the 2 levels can bring more potential leads to all the sponsors. So it's a great thing. And we've seen last year that most of the participants of open source experience were interested as well in the sponsors booth of DEVOPS Rex. Do you see anything to add, maybe John or Camille, regarding the situation of the DEVOPS Rex show? I ask you, John, because I know that you know well the place, so the venue. Sorry, so
yeah, it's a lovely venue. It's so nice to have a conference and a trade show in somewhere with natural light. One of the great feedbacks that I got from sponsors last year was that because the 2 events are co-located, but they're not time synchronized. It meant that when a lot of the conference attendees and DevOps Rex were inside the conference room, instead of the sponsors waiting around with no one there, they got a lot of influx of leads coming from the open source experience sites. Obviously, not all of them were particularly interested. The crossover is not 100%, but there was a lot of interest. There's a lot more leads thanks to the two events being co-located than we had imagined. So it was really positive.
That's a great point. So maybe we can talk about the sponsor offers in detail now. Camille?
Yes. So this year we have 30 sponsors maximum, and we have 3 different levels of sponsorship. So it starts with the silver sponsor, then the gold sponsor, and platinum sponsor. So the main difference will be the different of a booth. So it starts with 4 square meters to 12 square meter. And then the main difference is about visibility. So we would say that for silver sponsor, it's more about essential things. And then the gold sponsor has digital visibility mainly. And finally, platinum sponsor have like the whole package. And we also have guest badges that we give for all sponsors, and it depends of your level of sponsorship.
And it's true that the value of each complementary guest badges is important, and it's a value itself. And when you compare the value of, for example, for the platinum sponsor pack, 15 guest badge included, it means a big value of your full package. So it's important to mention it. And also, yes, the visibility on stage is important for the platinum sponsor, with some pitches for the platinum and gold sponsors. So it's important to notice this. Yeah, and anyway, we will send to everybody the full description of the offers. But do you see anything else to add, maybe John or Camille, on this
no,
point?
I guess we pretty much covered everything. I think the key thing about these on-stage pitch presentations are that we hold a very tight stage, so it's very much centered on the feedback talks. It also means we have all the participants in the room, and we do sessions of 2-3 talks. And then we, once we've got everyone's focus, we will put a sponsor on stage between 2 talks when everyone is sitting in the room, give them 1 minute or 2 minutes, depending on the package. And we're not that strict on the 1 minute or 2 minutes. So they don't take 5 or 10, but 2-3 works. To give a chance to really address the attendees, it's an amazing opportunity. We've seen some great shows over the years. We've had people doing chemistry on stage. We've had people dressed up. We've had all sorts of shows. So you can really make an impact at that point in time.
Okay, great. So we hope that all these services will retain your attention. Thank you for your participation to everybody today. That's the end of this webinar. Thank you to those who followed us or see this video in replay. We look forward to discussing with you the possibility of sponsoring the event, or welcome you as attendees and discover the conference. That's it. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.